So, as part of our member spotlights continuing through this week, I am so rapt to chat with Kerry Bolton, who is the founder and director of Caring Lotus, which is an NDIS service provider here in Melbourne. And one of the things that I love about what they do is that they care, which is a very underestimated skill to have for people. Kerry, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks so much for spending some time with us to talk about life in business for Kerry Bolton. And my gosh, what a year you have had, woman.
Yes, I have had a massive year.
You really have. And it's so great to see. And I can remember first meeting you when you were really a fledgling business and you were just starting to go out into that big wide world of NDIS service provider in such a competitive space, and to see how much you have grown and how quickly. I mean, hang on, right? You've gone really crazy. So I'm really keen to go through some of these questions with you to just see what it's been like for you and how life in business is for you. So I'm going to launch straight into our first question, which I love this question. What's one moment in your business journey, Kerry, that has completely changed how you think about success?
Definitely it was an Empire Mastery class. I actually stepped out of the building for the first building, I should say, the business, for the first time, and took a day off, and pretty much the business really collapsed that day. Like, people didn't show up, someone was sick, someone didn't turn up, and I had one person on the floor, and I remember thinking it was such a gamble to be at this company and not, at this mastery rather than being back in the business. But it really changed my life that moment. I got onto an Empire Mastery class and totally changed my thinking in the way of what I want to do. I am about caring and impact in life.
Yeah.
And I realised it's actually selfish to not think about pretty much building an empire where you can help as many people as possible. That's really what changed my mindset, because I've never been one who wanted a Lamborghini. I've never been one who wants a mansion. I've always been one who wants to change the way we support each other, connect, care. I think they're my true North Star sort of goals in life. And I realised to really do that, you have to have that goal of building an empire. Money, connections, power makes change. It's not sitting there by yourself trying to deal with 20 people that day and doing that day in and day out. It's not going to change too many people's lives, where if you can get to a caliber of something like Oprah, you can make a lot more change in the world. So it's changed my mindset of what I want. I don't just want this disability company now, because I've got domestic violence, homelessness, dementia clients. I've got a lot of areas that I really see a lot of impact and help with a proper change of mindset. So I'm looking
oh my gosh,
eventually.
I love that, just that flip of thinking about what you just said then, that really kind of pinged something in me where it's like, don't be selfish. Step out so you can do more and do more good. Like, what a great shift in mindset. That is incredible. So can you think back to, because as business owners we seek advice, we have mentors. Can you think of a piece of advice that maybe you received that perhaps you ignored, and that later down in your business journey you wish you had actually taken it on?
Yeah, I've got lots of things I live by, lots of sayings. The faster you go, the more bugs you'll hit is one that I live by quite often, because that's what happens. But it's true, but I also say bugs are protein. You grow from them. But one that's really, it was a sad situation, was hiring friends. I did hire a good friend of mine and put him in a position, and it was something that I realised not to ever do again, because it can break friendships and, end up in the way you don't want them to end. So I think I'll hire people that I know in the industry and, a business associate or whatever, but when it comes to a close friend, I wouldn't do that again. I think that's one area, because of the closest, things can go south and it can hurt. So I wouldn't do that again.
Yes, and I've heard that before from other people, and it feels like a natural thing to do, to bring your friends in, but can be fraught with danger and jeopardise that friendship, as you said.
Exactly.
So you kind of mentioned this a little bit when you said about, not being selfish, but what's a belief about your industry that you've had to unlearn, and what then replaced that?
I think one of the biggest things coming into the industry was when I started my company, especially, it was all about choice and control, and it's really been a drill word that they've used in the NDIS. Clients have choice and control. I think it got, if I can say, a little bit out of hand, where some people felt choice and control meant they get, I mean, I've had clients want silk pillowcases because they want silk pillowcases, or, I want to live, across the road from St Kilda Beach, because that's what they want and it's their choice and control. And, there obviously is a limitation of what we can do. I think most people want to live on the road, across the road from St Kilda Beach. But that doesn't mean that we get to have it. Like, we've obviously got government funding. So I think choice and control, I see more now. I feel like a lot of depression's happening in the industry because people have had that belief where they get what they want. And sadly, it comes back down to basic needs not even being met in a lot of cases. There is a lot of, I'd say, you see two clients that are fairly similar, and obviously the doctor's reports around it, and the support coordinator saying they're pretty much, they should be getting around the same package, and one might be getting a really large package and one might be getting nearly nothing. And I've seen that quite a bit too. So there is I don't know how they're going to get that fairness in the industry, but it's something I've had to really battle with the choice and control, and really explain to people we want everyone to be able to have services that they deserve and need. But yeah, it's one thing that I think more so now, choice and control is a limited word, and I see a lot of people on the NDIS sites really feeling like they're giving up with just the basic thing. So I think at the moment it's sort of like we get what we need, but not necessarily choice and control doesn't mean you get everything you want.
Yeah, I think you've put that really well, actually. The disability sector has come a long way in particularly the last 10 years. I imagine there is still a lot of misconceptions around, though. What are some of the common misconceptions that people may have about the disability support service sector or disability in general?
I'd say about the sector in general, there is so much on the news, and sadly, I'm one of the people who are affected by this because especially there's a lot of news about providers that aren't delivering the right services or doing the right things, the cowboys in the industry, everyone's heard it. It's not for the majority of them, I'd say, but there are obviously the minority that will be found in any industry taking advantage of some sort. It's turned into such a publicated area though that it's actually embarrassing now to say I'm an NDIS provider. I used to be proud of that, where now it's a bit of embarrassment because I'm thinking, have you got that misconception that I'm driving around in a Mercedes and doing all these wrong things when, realistically in the industry, it's in a really hard spot right now. There's a lot of, we've had to write quite a few hundreds and thousands of dollars recently because we've continued to provide support for people who needed services. It wasn't a want, it was a need, like MS or something where they couldn't get out of bed. They've run out of funding and we've decided to continue servicing them. Back in the day, we'd get a manual claim, it was called, and the NDIS would reimburse us for the time we spent with that client on our own back waiting for their plan to be reviewed, because it used to be done quickly. Now it's a very long process. And now we've gotten to that point, which breaks my heart in the industry, is we've had an MS client, we've had to actually just say we can't provide services anymore because it's already $20,000 and most likely we're not going to get that back. I've learned from the non-profit industry as well that sadly you have to be financially viable to be able to care. If we're not financially viable and go down like a lot of providers are at the moment, a lot of people, I know quite a few that I've nearly purchased because they've gone down because those manual claims aren't being paid and they just couldn't afford it. So we've been forced to sort of either pay, keep providing supports for free and go down, or have to say to people, we can't help you. And I'm always saying to them, I'll help advocate to the NDIS and if we can get a letter or something to say that they'll provide services for you. But it's a really hard area at the moment because of these things, and all my people that I know in the industry are facing the same challenges. It's really hard. So there's not all cowboys, there's a lot of caring and heartfelt people that, it breaks my heart to have to say, I've got, 200 clients or so, and I can't risk all of them as well because of one.
Of course, absolutely.
It's sad, but like I said, I'm always there to advocate to the NDIA about how sad it is at the moment.
Yeah, it is a really complex industry to work in as well, and I think you navigate it extremely well, but it would be challenging to face the media talk as well around then people paint everybody with the same brush. It's very sad. Like you say, there is still so many people that are very heartfelt and doing the right thing, like yourselves at Caring Lotus. Let's change gear a little bit. Now, if you could spend a day, Kerry, in somebody else's business, who would it be and why?
Definitely Sir Richard Branson. He's definitely one of my mentors, Virgin Group. So I actually had the pleasure, my mentor has got a bit of a relationship with him, and we had a live with him the other day, and he's definitely one of the people I look up to. In life, I've met him in person now. It was one of my bucket list things, and
Wow.
I feel he's done things with integrity. I look up to him, and sometimes we all falter and can't be the leader we want to be, but he's really taught me to stay above the line, get the right people around you, make sure they're understanding what you need. And, you know, as a CEO, director, founder, there's been a lot of needs that I've had, and you realise you're only human. And CEO, people don't really realise, especially when it's your own company as well, where you're the one who, you know, I think they're just passing a bill right now where I could be criminally charged if something goes wrong. There's obviously a lot of stress on a person to run all of these things and think of all the things that need to be done, from the little things like, do we need a new power adapter in here and who's going to organise that, to do we get our work cover estimate in and not get a fine? You know, there's so many elements of it. So Richard, I think, has managed to get a lot of great people around him, and I think I'm still, to this day, I'll reset as much as I can to keep trying to be in his ballpark and work out how to do it the way he has, because he's done very good. Also a shy man, but very he's out there, and I'm a bit of an adventurer too. I've done skydiving and bungee jumping and stuff like that, like he has. So yes,
Wow.
I've done a lot. I can't do it now because my back's not the best, but I've lived my life.
Oh, good on you. Gosh, I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to all of those things. So, okay, that talks to the next question, which is about risk. Jumping out of a plane, certainly a risk.
Mhm.
But what's a risk that you took that didn't really go as planned, but it actually taught you something really invaluable?
I think when I first started, I felt like I could look after any client, and we actually had a lot of clients coming to us from other providers that didn't provide the service they really should have. So we always just say they were treated wrongly. Like, I've got some beautiful clients that have been bullied in a way by other providers that have come to us. But we had a client that was, you know, a physical disability that he had, and the way he was treating my staff was just not incongruent with the way I treat my staff in the company. One thing I've always said to clients when they come on board is we treat our staff with respect, and we treat both the clients and the staff with respect. They're both important to us. And, you know, I always say 3 sides to a story. You know, it's both sides, and then you listen to maybe what's happened in the middle. But with this client, was actually pretty rude to quite a few of our staff, and they've been ringing us after shifts crying or upset, saying it felt like a domestic violence sort of situation. Not that they were getting hit, but the way they were being treated, like, oh, you're, you know, going below the line, I say.
Yeah.
I talked to him several times, and I felt we actually got along well, but I was trying to educate him on better ways to treat these staff so he could keep them on his program. And I think I got to 13 or 14 staff, one of them even being my son who was handling it. And eventually I had to pull the services and say my staff's health is, I have to provide a healthy and safe workplace, and I wasn't able to do that with him. So I think it comes down to, I try to say we'll take on all clients, but it comes to a level. If it's regarding their disability, then that's different, because the staff are more understanding that that's part of their disability, because his disability was nothing to do with the mental side of, you know, the psych sort of things. It was more just the physical. It was really hard, but we had to eventually say, look, I don't think it's the right fit for both of us.
And I think it's so important, and as CEO, director, founder for you, I mean, really your customers are your staff, and I think that's a really important mindset to have, is they are my customer, so I need to be treating them like gold, respecting them and providing a safe space for them. So yeah, really, that's a great story to demonstrate that, for sure. If we wind the clock back to day one, Caring Lotus, you know, you first stepped into this and thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a red hot go.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that?
It was actually my birthday when I thought of the idea. I've had a few interesting birthdays where big things, good things, bad things have happened. But this particular birthday, over 4 years ago now, I decided, why am I working for other providers that, without giving too much away, there was a bullying situation going on against me in the company, trying to help them get registered. and it was, I really started seeing that the safety, because one thing people don't realise is the amount of work that goes into safety of clients. And what was happening on these programs was there was workers driving on the freeway and clients were throwing gadgets at them, iPads or whatever. And I was, stressing that this is really dangerous, we need to do some things, and they weren't done. And I really saw that, I could see myself in the coroner's court one day as, in the position I was in, explaining why wasn't something put in place, and I didn't really have that option. And that's what made me want to start my own company, to be able to make sure people are safe, and that safety always overrode, obviously, money or the program itself. So working with clients, and I've talked to clients in depth at times, when there's something that's jeopardising my staff's safety, that I have to provide that safety for my staff. And we can't, I've had a client just recently even saying that they need to use Waze or something on their apps instead of Google because they liked it better. And they were sort of refusing to let the staff know where they were going when they got in the car. So I had to put the rule in to say, look, the staff need to know where they're going beforehand, because you can't be saying turn there and the staff are all stressed out or using apps that they're not used to. So yeah, you have to put your foot down at different times. But what inspired me was making those rules quick and action. I've worked in a lot of government, non-profit, from the Supreme Court down to little non-profits in California when I lived there. There's always red tape, and I was always battling against the red tape. And finally, if the computer breaks here or printer, I could just say, go get a new one now, and it'll be done tomorrow, not 3 months of waiting, and those sort of things. So a lot of that was what inspired me, but it was also obviously to help and get connection and community. I noticed in a lot of other providers, they didn't have enough connection and events for clients and staff. So we have them every week. Every month we've got a staff event, a client event, and we've also got art classes happening for the clients. And that connection, the loneliness in this world these days is on another level, I think. With social media, it's not really connecting, it's just talking, but actually seeing someone and listening to their stories and stuff, it's so important to them. And that art class is really starting to get its bones and getting more and more people that are enjoying getting together.
Oh, I love it. And just the ability to have that creative expression. Joining an art class, you don't have to be an artist. It's just that, going back to, remember as a kid, we just used to love getting out the crayons and drawing, and that expression that just kind of, it goes as you grow through life, and we stop doing that. And it's such a beautiful, enriching thing to do, and to do that together with other people. I love that you're doing that. So
staff even doing Monopoly boards, or we've made those chatter boxes, those little chatter boxes.
Yes.
You go pick a number, pick a letter, and you do something nice. And I started doing it, and it was so nice because we actually wrote really nice things in there, like keep wearing that smile, it looks good on you, and things like that. The clients were doing it, and we had a lot of fun. So we'll play games, do arts, whatever it is, but as long as it's connecting and being with each other for a couple of hours a week, I think it gives it a purpose to look forward to.
Yeah, it's human connection. It's so important. So if you can zero into one specific thing that you remind yourself when things get a bit tough, or, you're tired, or all the things that come with business ownership, what's one thing that you remind yourself about why you love what you do, Kerry?
I think it is the events. To me, we have, like every year in February, we have a big anniversary party, because we try to not get too much around Christmas because it's a bit of a hectic season, a lot of people are going away. But normally in February, we have our big anniversary. It's something I look forward to, and it's something that does really remind me why I do what I do. That day in itself, we have a big barbecue, we all come there, and we have some music on in the park, and it's amazing how much of a party and how much fun. Like last year we got the 360 machine, so people were dancing, and we had people with wheelchairs on there and all sorts of things. And
nice.
It was just nice to have that day where everyone's accepted. And I've had people come up to me afterwards and say, I remember one just saying, my granddaughter never goes out of the house, and she was actually saying, can we stay longer? It was just nice to see these people change their lives in a way. So that's one thing that I love about what I do, and why I keep doing it, because I've seen other providers not even in 5 years not being able to even put a barbecue on for their staff, and we're doing that constantly.
Yeah, so enriching of people's lives. So if somebody's watching this that is considering branching out into the NDIS space, what is something you would share with them that could really help them?
I'd say definitely know the pricing arrangements and support catalogue. That's the one thing a lot of people seem to just skim over. It isn't a long document, it's an important document. We've had some issues with people in the industry not even knowing the basic things of what you can and can't do. And even plan managers or sport coordinators or whatever, we're like, yeah, you can. I had the privilege of working with a lawyer who sort of was involved in writing that at one stage, so I know it probably better than most people, or why it was put in place and how it's meant to actually work. And obviously it's changed over the years as well, and keeping on top of that. I would say, though, you have to know it yourself, and I've even got AI. I've been putting my AI, and it answers questions better than most people I ring about the industry. It's a very sheep-based industry. We all hear something and we all think, oh, that's the way it's meant to be, and often it's not. So you'll hear the same opinion from different people, and you'll hear completely different opinions, and as providers, most of them sit there going, well, what's right? So it's important to go back to that price guide. And like I said, because of the industry at the moment, it really is prepared to make some really hard calls. Most people, I hope, would be in it because of heart. And unfortunately, yeah, you've got to, it's really a sad situation, but if I had to keep continuing services for everyone that I really wanted to, sadly we wouldn't be here anymore, and I wouldn't be able to do anything. And it's that really hard call that plays on your mind, you know. But if you can provide advocacy where you can, and make a noise, and have counsel and people like that behind you, and then peace that understand where you've gone, and I'd say go along those lines of just really connecting and trying to be a bit of a force in the industry.
Yeah, have the voice and use it.
Yeah, totally. Have it be used. Yes, you have to use it.
For sure. Our signature question that we love to ask everyone, Kerry, is at the end of it all, what matters most in life?
To me, it's my legacy. To me, it's the legacy I leave behind. It only makes me want to cry, but it's the legacy of what you actually changed.
Yeah.
I don't think it's what you did while you were here, but what you changed. And if I can make the world a bit of a better place,
yeah,
that's what it's about. Yeah.
I think you're doing that already. Well done.
That's what's important. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Kerry, 2025, what's ahead for you?
Lots of things. You probably know I've won quite a few awards. I was in New York with the Stevie Awards and things like that. So there was a lot of awards and a lot of change. For 25, the start of the year is really getting my management strong and leading in the right direction. It's making sure we're looking at some more structures and some other companies on the side at the moment. So it's definitely, I think it's hard work, and I'm okay with that. I feel like the last 6 months or so, it's been a lot of gallivanting around with these awards and things, but now I'm ready to jump back in and work really hard to make sure the management team's feeling secure, we've got the right people in place, and we're ready to grow to that next level. That's what I'm about. It's building that empire, hopefully getting, one of the jobs I want to do is, or new ideas I want to do is really get people working in the disability sector, like helping them get jobs. And like, I just look outside here and I've got probably 40 cars in the car park that are all dirty, all business owners that are busy. And how good would it be to have some of my kids that don't have a job to be able to wash those cars and make some money to help them afford, to live a bit better lives, and maybe get that house in St Kilda one day, but have their own little businesses, or empowering them to have businesses or working themselves so they've got purpose. And
I love, you've just said something like that, which means you've really tuned yourself into seeing opportunities in front of you. And so often in business, we get so clouded and bogged into our day-to-day, we stop that. Our antenna gets rusty or something, and we just stop seeing those opportunities, where I think you've had such a prolific year of being able to step outside, remind yourself that you are an entrepreneur. That is the true entrepreneurship in you coming out, where you see opportunities everywhere. And I know not only Caring Lotus will go from strength to strength, as we have seen over the years, but Kerry, I can't wait to continue to watch your journey and where you go to, because far out, you are a woman on a mission, and you're so able to create these things, and I just think it's super exciting, and we're so happy to know you and to be inspired by you. And I hope people have watched this and been inspired, because I think you really speak from the heart, and that's what it's all about. So thank you, Kerry. Have a beautiful Christmas.
You too. Thank you so much.